Let's get an update on what we heard from that press conference. Dave Keating is our EU correspondent. He's live with me right now. Dave, there's been a lot of confusion as to what the European Union's policy is when it comes to aid to the Palestinians. Did we get any clarity following this press conference this afternoon?
We didn't hear anything from Josep Borrell. We know Josep Borrell's position on this. He said last night that he thinks it would be a bad idea to suspend aid. He said it would be counter to the EU's strategic interests and it would be a form of collective punishment against all Palestinians for the actions of Hamas. The question is whether this was ever really an EU policy. What we just heard from a European Commission spokesperson about an hour ago is the Commission admitted that this was a kind of rogue tweet. It was put out by the Neighbourhood Commissioner, Oliver Varhelyi, who is from Hungary. He's an ally of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. And the Commission spokesperson said that tweet was put out without consultation with anyone from the Commission College, including Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. So it was essentially him acting alone. Now, national EU governments were furious when this tweet came out yesterday because that discussion over the review of EU aid and the suspension while the review is being carried out was supposed to happen today at this emergency meeting of EU foreign ministers, which is happening this afternoon. Varhelyi essentially preempted that and announced this as EU policy. And so, of course, the media reported this as the EU has suspended aid to Palestine. And we've just heard from the Commission spokesperson, no, that isn't true. The EU hasn't suspended aid. The big question now is if you have a rogue commissioner within the Commission College acting on his own, how can anyone trust any tweet put out by a commissioner, by a European commissioner? For her part, the spokesperson was asked, will President von der Leyen be taking disciplinary action against this commissioner? Will she be asking for him to resign, which is her right to do? He is effectively a member of her cabinet, like a prime minister would have ministers in their cabinet. He said, no, she's focused on the situation on the ground, on the crisis. But this has been an incredibly confusing situation. We'll see. It's still possible that the foreign affairs ministers meeting this afternoon may say, no, actually, we do want to suspend this aid. Israel has long complained that this aid going for development in the Palestinian territories actually ends up in the hands of terrorists. The EU has long disputed that, saying there are tight controls that make sure this only goes to civilian projects, building hospitals, building roads, paying civil servants. And so the problem is, if you suspend the funds, then it's almost a tacit admission that the funds may have been going to terrorists. This is a very tricky issue, and this is going to be an explosive meeting of foreign affairs ministers this afternoon.
Indeed, we'll see what comes out of that meeting of the EU foreign ministers. For now, though, Dave Keating in Brussels, thanks very much.